In this tutorial, we're going to walk through how to configure the Lepide Data Security Platform to audit Active Directory, Group Policy and Exchange on-premise. Before we jump into the configuration, it's recommended that you watch Tutorial 1, Getting Started with Lepide DSP. This is to ensure the Lepide server and the other prerequisites are set up correctly. There are two ways in which we can enable the audit settings in the target domain for auditing. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to automatically enable the audit settings. This can also be completed manually, and the guide can be found in the documentation on our website. The direct link to the guide is listed here on this slide. One thing to note before we start: in order for the automatic configuration to complete successfully, we have to temporarily assign domain admin and schema admin rights to the service account we specify during the configuration. When the configuration is complete, we can remove these privileges. This is of course not required if we opt to configure the audit settings manually. Under Add Component, let's select the Domain component. Next, select Express Configuration to configure the domain with the default settings. Specify the domain name and service account credentials you wish to use to connect to the domain for auditing. Select Without Agent as the chosen auditing method. An agent's not required but could be recommended in networks where some of the domain controllers are situated in remote or poorly connected locations. The next screen details the audit settings that will be applied automatically when we enable auditing of the domain. As explained, it will enable system audit policies through Group Policy Object Configuration, as well as setting the required audit flags on the domain, configuration and schema partitions. Next, we specify a target domain controller. It's also recommended to create a new GPO to configure the audit settings rather than editing an existing GPO. We then wait for a minute or two for the audit settings to automatically apply. Just to note, once again, all of the audit settings can be configured manually as per the guide previously mentioned. Now auditing is enabled, we'll also select Active Directory and Group Policy Backup. This will give us the ability to view system state reports and also roll back unwanted changes made in either Active Directory or Group Policy. We can adjust the schedule as per our specific requirements. In this case, I'm going to set the backup to run daily at midnight for both Active Directory and Group Policy. Next, we need to specify the IP addresses for all the domain controllers in the environment, as well as set a preferred DC for general calls and from where to retrieve backup information. Finally, we need to specify our SQL instance information, set the credentials, remembering the service account used should have the sysadmin role on the target instances, so it has the ability to create a database. We can either select an existing database or specify a name for a new database that will then be created automatically. And that's it. The Lepide Data Security Platform is now configured to audit Active Directory, Group Policy and Exchange on-premise. After restarting Lepide, it will begin auditing your target domain.